Good. Scott says you're sorry.
I'm good.
Okay, thanks. Welcome to the January 22nd, 2025 Westtown East Goshen Police Commission meeting. My name's Dick Pomerantz. Up to now, I've been the chair. Tom?
I'm Tom. I'm a commissioned at large.
Cody?
He's not online.
Cody, you there? Until he comes online. Dave?
I'm David Molnar, East Goshen resident.
Dave?
David Leahy, interim chief of police.
Eric Ruggieri, West County Scotia Police.
Mike?
Mike Bragdon, West County.
Mula Carter, Westtown Township.
And let's see, is
Cody.
he there yet?
Derek Davis, East Scotia manager.
Thanks, Derek. Cody, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. Cody Bright, East Goshen Township.
Okay, so before we begin, I'm going to ask everybody to stand if we can do pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God. And if I could ask everybody to stand for just a minute of reflection. A lot has happened in the last couple of days nationally, but more importantly is that as we get into this year, first of all, Happy New Year to everybody. We haven't had a chance to say that. And Jason, I forgot to you introduce yourself, so if you want to do that before we do anything.
I'm Corporal Jason Large.
And with that, it's going to be a consistent theme throughout the year, and that is that everybody in the department, you and yours and your families, be safe. Thank you. An executive session was held prior to discuss personnel issues, and this is in addition to executive sessions that were held all relating to both personnel and in one case personnel and legal. Were December 26th, January 9th, and of course the one I just spoke about, January 22nd. Before we do anything, we have to do a reorganization of the police commission. And usually we have a third party do the intro. But I guess, do you want to do the nominations, start with the nominations, Tom, and then
No, let Cody do it. Probably sick man.
Cody?
I nominate Dick Pomerantz as chair of the police commission.
I'll second it.
Okay, I'll take it. All in favor?
Aye.
I'll nominate Cody Bright for vice chair.
Second.
You were very quick on that one.
I didn't think you noticed.
Sorry, Dick. I thought you wanted to be chair.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll do the nomination for Tom for commissioner at large, Tom Stone.
Second.
No, you accepting it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so all in favor.
That was
Aye.
happening.
At the same time, I just want to, he's already introduced himself to the public in a number of ways. He spoke yesterday to both boards and to the publics of the both boards. But Dave, I should say, interim chief of police, David Leahy, we welcome you. And we're thrilled that you're here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the police commission's giving me this opportunity. I am honored, very much so.
And we're very pleased to know that there's somebody with the experience that you have and also your understanding and knowledge of the police, this particular police department, that you're with us and that we'll look forward to working with you. With that, I'm going to go to the approval of the minutes for December 18th, 2024. Do I hear a
No
motion?
move.
Second.
Any questions, bud? All in favor?
Aye.
So with that, we're going to do the chairman's report. And this is really for those who maybe will watch this on video or maybe listening now. We've already formally announced and welcomed interim police chief Dave Leahy. The For those who have been asking as to when we're going to know or hear about the study, the staffing study, we want you to know that the Police Commission had anticipated receiving the hard copies of the study today. Unfortunately, FedEx couldn't deliver it because of the storm, so we'll be receiving that tomorrow, hopefully. And there's a whole process I'm happy to talk through a little bit later as to what we're going to be doing with it. And then, because both our boards are interested, they've both been informed, and the same thing is that the various stakeholders will be part of the process as well. The other thing too is that I did want to, on behalf of the Police Commission, formally congratulate and thank now retired Police Chief Brenda Bernat for a superb 12 years of professionalism and leadership. And she's been thanked many times, and our public will and our residents will continue to know that she'll always be in the memory of our police department and of our various our two townships. I wanted to walk through about this particular police commission and the challenges and the initiatives that this police commission will be dealing with over the next 12 months. The truth of the matter is, and we've made no secret about it, the last 12 months have been extremely impactful for a variety of different reasons. They were challenging, but as challenging and as impactful were those 12 months, the next 12 months are even more so, and that without exaggeration. So let's start with what are the 5 or 6 most important initiatives that this police commission will be dealing with, other than whatever we deal with on a monthly basis. First of all, obviously, it's the Daigle staffing study report. That will be, as I said, hopefully we're going to get our hard copies to the police commission itself by tomorrow. Here's the process we're going to be following. And it's something we talked about as a police commission. And we've agreed on the process. And but at the same time, we want to make sure that the relevant stakeholders will have their involvement as well. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to spend, each of us individually, that's myself, Cody, and Tom, want to review the document. Do we know what's in the document? Absolutely not. We just don't. And we're looking forward to it with the same anticipation that I'm sure the people in this room are as well. 2, the police commission, the 3 of us will form our questions, our search and seek out from the consultants answers that need to be clarified. I'm sure there will be. Every consultant's report, if it's worth its salt, will have questions for us or for the client. In this case, it's us. Issues to be analyzed, and the consultants know that they were going to be doing that. The exact timing of which will follow after the police commission itself meets as in executive session ourselves. Then copies of the report, and they're not going to be edited. The report will go as is to the 8 members who comprise the Board of Supervisors, 5 for East Goshen and 3 for West Ham. They will have an opportunity to review it. They will, I'm sure, have their questions as well. And this will eventually lead to a joint meeting of the boards. Again, the timing of which we will be determined as once we see how the chronology works itself out. But I want to make sure that everybody understands this, and both Tom and Cody know this, as well as our township managers. We are not delaying this for any reason at all. We're going to follow it. We're going to follow it systematically, but at the same time, we want to make sure that it's done expeditiously. If you haven't attended a joint board meeting of the 2 boards, the consultants will be invited for that as well. That's a public meeting. So unless our legal counsel says that we can't have it as a public meeting. The association will have an opportunity also to have a copy of, to review. We want all the stakeholders involved as to exactly the chronology. Again, that'll be dictated by the once we see how the process is playing itself out. And at that point, when the joint board comes together, we have an interesting question to ask ourselves. We haven't really talked about that. Is what's the role of the joint board as it relates to the recommendations, if there are any recommendations of the staffing study? As far as, you know, who makes that decision? Is the decision made by the police commission? Is that decision, are some of those decisions made by, are under the purview of the joint boards? Those are questions that I think we still need to have resolved. We'll figure that out. Obviously, throughout this process, the police chief will be involved in as well, from day one. Okay, as well as the township managers. While the study is being studied, we're not ignorant of the fact that there's also another issue. In fact, I've heard other people saying, I said, well, why don't you start with the agreement between the relationship between that needs to be renegotiated between East Goshen and West Ham. And the decision we made seemed to be logical. Well, we don't know what's in the study, but things that are in the study may have an impact on this what the agreement should look like. So we'll be dealing with that as well. On top of which, we are also very cognizant of the fact that labor negotiations will be beginning. So that's quite a challenge in and of itself. On top of which, and that process is going to begin in an expeditious time. Exact timing we haven't decided yet, and that is will be a national police commission, a search for a police chief. Dave is aware of it. Dave is also, and he can speak for himself. He has been told that even though he is the interim police chief, in fairness to any other candidates who decide to put their names in and their application in, just because he's the interim police chief doesn't mean that he has a leg up. And that was an agreement we made from the very beginning, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so all these things are going to be happening, some of them simultaneously, some contemporaneously, and some will be more sort of in sequence. Like I said, the police commission realizes that we have a lot on our plate. And to some extent, it's rather daunting. Just from a practical point of view, and this is really for everybody in the room, Cody, Tom, and I, and I'm really the person responsible for it. We have to change the dates for our February meeting and our March meeting. My wife is having her surgery that I'm going to be the caregiver for. That will conflict with the dates, the February date, and then the follow-up dates with her surgeon happen to coincide time-wise for both February and March with that. So unless Tom and Cody decide they would like to have the meeting without me, and I'm just as happy if they do that. Otherwise, we'll reschedule it and we'll give you the new times and dates for that. Next. And this is really just a thank you to my two colleagues. Last year was for the three of us. It was the first time the three of us have ever worked together. It was interesting, and each of us has very different styles. But what's come out of that is that I think we've all learned something, is that you can disagree without being disagreeable. There's a real sense of trust. Nobody dominates. Notwithstanding the fact that Tom would love to dominate every conversation. That's a joke, by the way. having, and I said this to our board last night, when I was asked by our board publicly is to comment about each board has to decide on who's a citizen at large. And I know Cody's board voted 5-0 and ours voted 3-0. I don't know in their case, in East Goshen's case, whether anybody was asked to speak on it. I did. I mean, I was asked by our chair if I wanted to talk about it. Having, and I think I speak here for Cody as well, having Tom, and I said this openly to the public, and we actually had quite a few people in the room and watching, having Tom being the citizen at large has made an enormous difference to the efficacy of this particular police commission. He brings with it obvious experience, points of view that as lay people, we might have points of view, but we would not have necessarily the substance to go with our points of view to at least get some kind of, the pros and the cons and hear what he has to say. I think that going forward, if the makeup and the composition of our police commission is going to be to include a citizen at large, I would hope that future police commissions going forward would have the citizen at large of being somebody who brings the same substantive element to a citizen at large to be able to provide the information and the thought leadership for the lay people, whether it be the representative from West Ham or the representative from East Goshen. And that's what I said to our public last night. It makes a huge difference. I sat on two police commissions early on where the citizen at large, if and when he decided to show up, which was not often, frankly, didn't have anything to say or very little to say. That's not to be critical of him. It was just different. Having somebody with Tom's background gives us something to chew on. So first of all, I want to thank Cody for his group for voting for Tom. I want to thank my board for doing the same. And Tom, I'm pleased that you've agreed to do it again.
Thank you.
Okay. Cody, Vice Chair, report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My apologies to everyone for not being in person today. The sick bug has bitten the Bright household. So my apologies for not being in person, but I just want to also thank my board for appointing me to be police commissioner again for the second year. As Dick mentioned, last year was difficult, and it really does take 6 months at least to be able to understand and grasp things that go on within the department. So I'm appreciative and hopeful to learn more this year. I want to also congratulate Dave as well as his new appointment. And I look forward to continuing to represent East Goshen and in this capacity. So thank you.
Tom?
We do everything we can to make sure everybody that works there comes home safe at the end of the tour. Give them all the equipment and everything we can give them to make sure that happens. And support.
Chief, your report and your concerns.
Yes, so first, I'd just like to, again, thank the police commission for this opportunity. It truly is an honor, and I hope to do well for the department and the commission. So as far as concerns, I think my main concern, Dick, you already addressed, and that was just the timeline that we were looking at as far as the study goes. So, but other than that, the only other concern that I have is actually probably listed on their new business, so I can just, with Officer Cummins' resignation, so I can just address it then, if that's
fine.
As far as compliments, there were no written compliments in December that I could locate at least. It was busy with the holiday seasons, but I can tell you that compliments are starting to come in pretty rapidly for our officers in January. So I'm keeping track of those, and they'll be disseminated to the police commission for your review later on this month or prior to the February's meeting. Again, we would like to thank all the residents. Even though we didn't receive letters, we did receive plenty of goodies and meals throughout the holiday season that my officers back here can attest to. And some of them, like I said last night at both meetings, are now working those treats off. So thank you to our residents for that. As far as that's concerns and compliments.
Anything else?
Yeah, as far as would you like no, that's it for now. for
Okay.
Concerns.
I'm going to make one recommendation to you, and I could have done that privately, but I think it's better to do it now. Just like I moved and suggested to Kathy, we moved the sort of the flow to make it more logical. I understand that we've, the last few police commissions have followed a certain sort of flow, if you will, to the agenda. But if you as the police chief feel that in any way, shape or form that we should change it, I'm fully in favor of doing that. I want this to be something that just because we've done it in the past this way doesn't mean you always have to do it this way. So just give it some thought for the future.
Absolutely, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Yep. Thank
All right. Township Roundtable. Derek, you want to start?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I don't have much. January tends to be a slow month in East Goshen, as everybody else, for Parks and Rec, so no events coming up. I did just want to continue to reiterate, we have the new subdivision of 16 homes going in and 1010 Hershey Mill Road, also known as Millstone. So there's a lot of vehicle traffic up there. I've gotten some complaints, so I'm trying to work with the developer to make sure we curtail those as much as possible. But David, just want to make you aware of that as well. And other than that, I am just trying to stay as warm as possible.
you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Mila?
I don't have much to report. We're still having an issue with ice rink, receiving complaints from adjacent resident about parking lot activity. I received a couple of videos of kids playing hockey and warming up right on the parking lot. We did receive a complaint from the resident. We've done improvement project to Swan Basin. And I guess the water froze up and kids were ice skating on a frozen pond. So our public works director came out and took a look, but there is nothing that we can do to address that. So kids are just having fun on them, and it's not unsafe. And we are still working to get our reimbursements for Craigville land purchase. The Board of Supervisors approved the township engineer to work on a demolition bid package. By grant terms, we are required to demolish structures on Craigville by the spring. And we will be doing some landscaping and maintenance around Darlington Inn. PennDOT is getting ready to start their project sometime in May. So they've been doing some vibration readings at the inn to make sure that whatever they're gonna do with the right turn lane and rebuilding the wall is not going to impact the building. So we'll see a lot of construction activity during that time. Demolition is ongoing, as you can see, for the Quality Inn. We received the complaints from Stanton Avenue when it was really windy, that there were pieces of drywall and insulation just flowing and blowing around on Stanton. So the contractor came out and cleaned it up and secured the site. So I hope we are not gonna get additional complaints about that. But it's been pretty quiet months.
Well, Mila says that we're expecting money, Westtown is, for the grants for Billy. We were expecting up to $7 million already. And just for the edification of this group, tell them the process we have to get through to get the $7 million.
Yeah, so the reimbursement process for every grant is complicated. With the federal grant, you can't just submit for reimbursement to the federal agency. You have to go through the state agency. So you have to submit all the paperwork. Requirements for every grant are absolutely different. So if one requests a title insurance policy to be for a specific value, the other one has a different amount in place. So it's kind of a combination between working with the solicitor, working with the engineer, working with the field crew. We have to do additional pins to be installed on Crabbilly, making sure that the acknowledgement sign is in. And it's a long and daunting process because you submit the paperwork and you don't know when you're gonna hear a response back. But I received an email today that the National Park Service green lighted our project.
Hey,
So we just need to, hopefully, we're gonna receive $6 million soon enough. But I don't know what the internal process is for releasing the money, so hopefully it's gonna be in the next couple of weeks.
be helpful. There's a piece in the Daily Local News today. I've seen it online and I haven't picked up the hard copy yet. Last week, Westminster Church was really, really helpful. They provided free of charge one of their major rooms for a private meeting of our volunteers who were responsible for basically the success of Crabbilly, both the leading up to the referendum and since the referendum. Some of the people there also were some of the private donors, in addition to the public money that we got. For a Monday, bad weather, when you get 70 people coming to a meeting, it was pretty impressive. It was an incredibly successful meeting. If anything, we almost had to tap down the enthusiasm and say, we're here, we want to give you an update as to where we are in this process. We know you all want to be able to go on the property, but you can't. We also know that you as volunteers want a role to play in what will eventually come out. What will Crabbilly look like? And that meeting turned in from an information meeting, and I think this was the great surprise. People signing up to be volunteers right away. We're working in different groups, mini groups. And it was, everybody just walked away and they were really pleased. So we took the enthusiasm and this incredible job that they did as volunteers, without whom there wouldn't have been a successful referendum in the first place. And for those that don't understand, and this really is much for the public listening, there would never have been the saving of Crabbilly without the success of the referendum. You start with the referendum, and if you do that, then that allows for an open space tax, and that led to the success of the whole Crabbilly process. I'm just pleased that the people will continue to take interest. And they were from all over the place. There were politicians there, there were private citizens there. And we'll probably be holding those meetings every quarter or so. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. And I think that's it on the township roundtable. Let's go to the review of approved bills for December 4th and the 27th. Do I hear a motion to?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on it? All in favor? Let's
Aye.
do a whole bit. Thanks, Cody. Let's do an accreditation update. Do you want to run with that, Paul?
Sure.
Okay, Dave.
So if the police commission isn't aware and the boards aren't aware, our reaccreditation date is scheduled for February 28th. We actually have a mock assessment that's going to be held offsite. That's going to begin midweek next week. But the full reassessment will take place February 28th. So the three assessors will be on site, going over the proofs, the policies, and then, we'll provide them with a static tour of the station, which we've typically done in the past. So it has been a lot of work. I can say that myself and a lot of the officers, in this room, Detective Rag and Corporal Large, everybody in the back here, Russ, Dave, Eric, Lieutenant Stafford, we've all worked diligently with Elias, the accreditation consultant, to make sure that we're prepared for this reaccreditation assessment. So it's been a little daunting, but we're getting there. So we're on track, and we're talking with the consultant. He's confident that we'll be fine. So that's a good thing.
Yes, great. Any questions for on the accreditation?
I've spoken with him. He's spoken with me twice and he's confident.
Yes.
Any questions there, Cody, for about the accreditation?
All good. Thank you.
Commercial vehicle scales, rental paid until March 31st, 2025.
Yeah, so speaking with Kathy earlier about this before she left, basically, the idea is just to keep this as old business on the agenda going forward. I guess we do want to maybe talk about something, up in the end of March, but what we do with these scales going forward, whether we continue a lease or whether we decide to look into actually purchasing them.
That's
I
a
know.
fair statement.
I know Sergeant Lewis provided a proposal back in the fall that gave some prices, so I guess for now, just keep it on the agenda till the decision is made unless, police commission wanted to decide on something, in the meantime, but the status quo on scales.
Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, let's move to new business, the shredding resolution 2025-01. You want to run with that?
Yeah, Jason, can you scroll up to page 12, please? I didn't bring it in front of me, but
There's a couple different page numbers.
keep going.
Nick, did we have that in the packet?
Oh, I'm sorry, go up, Jason,
That
go up.
little up the. Yeah, I got it.
The shredding resolution?
Yeah,
It's in there.
yeah. It's a long resolution.
That right there, there you go. So basically, this resolution, the police commission is giving approval. I can read it out loud word for word if you like, Mr. Chair, but basically giving the police commission giving permission for the shredding of certain documents, calibrations from 2019, citations, non-criminal from 2019, 2020, 21, daily logs from officers from 20 and 21, police report requests from 2017 through 22, and right to know requests from 2022 to be shredded by Wiggins, I believe.
Is there like a time element that's involved, a statute of limitations?
So yes, it's actually in there. I believe it's referred to within municipal records manual approved.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah, we do.
Let me ask you a question. Are all of these things to be shredded? Do they comply with the rules of the Commonwealth?
They do.
Move, we accept it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I still am interested in that.
Yeah, there's a retention schedule that I can provide.
That'd be really helpful.
Going forward.
Okay.
Yep.
Particularly on the right to know.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Officer Quinlan's resignation.
So yes, so back at the end of 2024, Officer Josh Cummins provided his resignation from the police department. Josh was a 7-year veteran of the police department. Decided to take a full-time job with a department in Berks County closer to his residence. We wish Josh the best. I know he left this department a well-trained officer. Our loss is his new department's gain. So we wish him best. That being said, that puts us in a position where we're now down one full-time officer. So I would like the police commission to consider the replacement of his position in patrol as a full-time officer.
My suggestion would be is that we won't answer that right now, but we'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay. The audit for 2024.
So yeah, again, speaking with Kathy, this audit is standard. She said she's going to take care of it when it gets back. It's a financial audit. She'll have her signature on it when it gets back. It's just more putting on the record and letting the police commission know that it's in the works.
If I had one problem with it, and that is that besides the hourly rate, I think their partner's hourly rate was something like $350 an hour or $390 an hour or something like that. I thought that was frankly a little high.
Right.
The second thing is that that accounting firm, and they've acknowledged it, because when Kathy and I met with them, is that they were very, very much behind the 8 ball for almost a year.
Right.
If Kathy were here, I would ask her to just reassure us is that, is she confident now that going forward, that, that these people will meet the timeline?
Right.
So, but that's something we'll wait when she gets back. Okay. Officer comments. There are a lot of officers here.
I have one question, one thing under new thing I should have brought up. I've had several of the police officers in this department approach me, and I just want to let you know that I've got it on my radar, and it's a big blip. I'm really taking a big interest in LiveScan and where it is and what's best for this department, and I appreciate the information that you gave me, Lieutenant, about the travails that our officers have to go through. And I'm just trying to understand why it's so archaic when we could have it here. So I just want to let you know that I've got it on my radar.
Thank you.
Tom, I'd like for you and I'd like a briefing from you on that in the future if possible, please.
Absolutely delighted.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Officer comments.
On behalf of the Police Association, we want to express our gratitude to having Dave be our leader. We are extremely happy to have him here. And I know you guys are doing a search, a national search for a police chief, and I understand why you need to do that, but I feel you're going to have a hard time finding someone with the education, training, and experience. You may be able to find somebody to compare that will compare to Dave, but it's the leadership category that he excels in, that I think you're going to have a hard time matching that. He's very capable of leading this police department. The fact that he was put into this position with such short notice, and to be able to do what he's done over the last few weeks with the accreditation process that we're going through and the study that we're preparing for and all the functions of the police department and answering to the police commission and also doing his duties that he was doing when he was lieutenant here. It just blows my mind. We're extremely happy to have him leading our department at this particular moment. And I hope he'd be able to continue to do that even after your hiring process.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the good news here is that when Sergeant Ragney finishes his professional work here as a police officer, he's going to become an advocate and an agent for people who are looking for new jobs.
Don't ask for a better one. There you go.
Mike, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Statistics.
Sure. So the statistical report for December, the department handled 1,839 calls. In Westtown specifically, there were 742 incidents. East Goshen, there were 1,084 incidents. Year to date, by the end of 2024, the department handled 25,085 incidents, 11,053 of those which were in Westtown, and 13,827 which were in East Goshen. Some trends that we observed in December. The police department received 22 reports of different various frauds in December. They involved identity theft, fraudulent or washed checks, internet-related scams. One incident involved a phone call where the caller told the victim that they missed jury duty and needed to pay a fine by way of Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency. That victim ended up paying out about $7,000 and was in loss of $7,000 as a result of the scam. So again, we remind our residents to keep your personal information secure, never to give it out over the phone, never to give it out over line. Be cognizant of fraudulent emails. We'll continue to provide these, knowledge-based presentations going forward. I think, with especially in East Goshen, our our residents that are of an older age, fall victim to these crimes more prevalent than others. So we really want to focus on educating the public. I know we've addressed this before, but if we it's our duty to keep educating the public on this, because you hear these stories. I know Corporal Large it took an update on one back in the beginning of January, I believe, that was reported back in earlier in 2024, but this poor woman's out. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, but upwards of $300,000, which is just unbelievable. And the sad part is most of these incidents are unsolvable. It's just you can't find. It's like they're gone. So we have been successful in the past. Very few incidents where we've been able to intercept some of these transactions if there were time with assistance. There's programs with the federal law enforcement agencies that they have in place, but it's really is a time thing. It's once the money's gone, typically it's gone. So we want to continue educating our citizens. Thefts in December, there were numerous package thefts that occurred. Obviously, that's the holiday season. But it occurs throughout the year too. So again, we want to keep, make sure our residents are aware. If you have a neighbor that is around to get your package, have them bring it in for you. Or if you have, a ring or some sort of surveillance camera, make sure you have that where the package is left. At least that would give us a chance maybe to investigate it. And we have been successful in investigating some of these thefts in the past. So I know I brought this up, and I feel this is very important going forward too, with mental health in our society. Our officers have been investigating at a higher rate than normal over the last few months, suicide incidents. So we just want to let people know out, and we're making another push for this, that if you're in crisis, there is help for you. You can dial 988. That will get you to a 24/7, 365 day a year crisis hotline. If you dial that from your cell phone in the area here, that'll actually connect you to the Chester County hotline department, where they work in conjunction with a newly established mobile response team, crisis response team. So residents, whether it's yourself in crisis or whether it's a family member or friend, that resource is there. They're there to assist you. And that mobile crisis response team, obviously, there's different protocols, but for the most part, they handle these incidents on their own. But if need be, they will reach out to law enforcement agencies. And again, it's new, so we're still working some kinks out within the county. But again, we want to really push that, because the mental health, as we've seen, is some very tragic events going on in our country due to mental health issues.
Is there any information out at all yet to why the greater prevalence of suicide than before?
So I don't have any like empirical data for you, Dick, but I can say just like you hear it on the news. Unfortunately, with the younger generation specifically, there's been studies of social media and your cell phones. I don't know the correlation between the two, but that has been put as an idea or a reason why. Obviously, historically, there's, like we said, that during the holiday seasons, it's usually higher. Financial reasons. We've seen people that it's very unfortunate, and this is more somebody that's might be having a health issue on their own, and they just want to end the pain. So it's a variety. But why mental health in itself? I mean, a lot of it has to do, from what we've seen, is drug related mental health. So as a result of continual drug use, that then creates mental health issues.
All you have to do is read nationally the number of times over the last few months of murder suicides within families.
Right.
Are we seeing any of that within sort of the WeGo family? So
obviously we had that situation back in late 2024 and the fall 2024, a very unfortunate situation. Obviously I'm not going to get into the details of that, but the family was doing the best they could in that situation, and just was an unfortunate incident. So
I know you were asked this question by our board publicly, and so and there will be people who weren't privy to it. Don't know if it was asked at East Goshen. Without revealing anything that you say can't be revealed, Can you talk about the rumors and then the net effect of what happened from the rumors regarding the departure of the principal at Ruston?
Yes, so we did hear some speculation that we had an unusual presence at Ruston during this. I can say that was, I don't know where that came from. There was nothing unusual. Obviously, we have a school resource officer in there on a daily basis. Our juvenile detective is in Ruston and in other schools, you know, on a daily basis. So it's not uncommon for both of them to be there. So for more than that of a presence for this, that just wasn't the case. So that was maybe a rumor that was out there. We were asked by the school district to examine some issues as a result of an investigation, an administrative investigation that they were conducting. They asked us to look at those issues to see if there was any criminal activity. So our detective division did that and determined that no, there was no criminal activity involved here. So during that time, we were aware that this video that you alluded to came out and rumors of this video with the principal. We were made aware of that. So there was a separate issue. So we did, the investigators did look at that video, conducted a thorough investigation and determined that no criminal activity resulted in that video. So.
And the sort of, how do you reconcile that with or can you, with the fact is that it seemed almost instantaneous that the principal then resigned? If there wasn't, again, these are questions that we've been asked as supervisors.
Right. So, and I can't give you the answer to that because that's more of a district personnel issue. Like why he resigned when he did, I don't know.
Was it unrelated to the video, to the best of your knowledge?
His resignation, I believe, was prior to the video. Yes.
Okay, it's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, appreciate it. Let's move on to overtime report.
Yeah. So for the dates between December 2nd, 2024 and December 29th, 2024, the total overtime was 349 hours, 349 and a half hours, 11 and a half operational, 12 hours of community event overtime, which was covered by the grant, 119 personal hours of overtime, 137 sick, and 70 patrol overtime hours. Obviously, personal time was higher than normal just because of the end of the year.
How much of this time was being burned up because of payment issues or they would lose money if they didn't use it? Or was
It would be your personal time and it would be your personal time there that they would lose their personal time.
What about sick time?
Yes, if they were at a certain cap.
So it's both personal and sick time that they would lose.
Certain amount.
So by them,
All of it
then you
for-
bring somebody in for overtime, so you're doing double. In some cases.
So yes, if personal time wasn't used, they would lose it. Yep. And then average for the last 3 months was 379 hours and 0.33 hours of overtime. Last 6 months, 303.66. And the average for 2024 was 254 hours.
Okay. Let's move on to the month-end report.
Sorry. So for the month-end report, the entire report's available in the crime or in the police commission packet on our Crime Watch page. But specifically, Kathy asked me to address the surplus. So in the savings fund for the end of 2024, there was a $39,992.60 surplus. In the general fund, $158,192.88 surplus. In the payroll fund of $47,418.23 surplus. Obviously totaling for a grand total of $245,603.71. That amount will then be distributed between both townships to go towards their requirements for in February for the police budget.
Great. PPUs.
So for the PPUs for the month of December, the split was 45.86% that were for Westtown. And for East Goshen, it was 54.14%. So it's on target for where typically we would like to be if we were actually documenting the PPUs.
With the caveat is that, had it come out different, but we're not holding anybody accountable for it.
Correct.
anyways. Okay,
Correct.
It's fine. Public comment.
Happy New Year to everyone and welcome the interim chief lady.
Thank you, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah, thank you. And with that, any other comments, questions, or thoughts? And I forgot to mention that we have two other officers here. You want to introduce yourself, Russ?
Ross Weaverly and Dave Hale.
Thank you, guys. I didn't notice you. And with that, do we hear a motion to?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you, Cody.
Thanks,
Get better.
guys.
I'll
Thank you.
call you
Thank
about
you.
live scans. We'll live scan it
Call
up.
me,
I
call me
will.
Friday. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Very good job. Good job. Good job. Quick and to the point.
Yes, sir. Lives in Billy down, right?
No.